Well, the summertime, in addition to the heat, it is a very common time when people have back problems. They're lifting, maybe doing yard work and exercising a whole lot more. We have a doctor in this morning, Dr. Eric Trumez, who's here to talk about what you can do to maybe solve some of those problems. He's with the Seton Spine and Scoliosis Center. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll talk about some of those common back problems. How are people getting their back injured?
You know, we see a couple different things in the summer in particular. One is the common overuse back problem where people sit all week and then on the weekends they're out doing things to a degree that their back may not be ready for.
Yeah.
In particular in the summer though, we see a lot of people who will have overuse injuries because they're not, their body mechanics aren't as good. As the day gets hotter, their energy level goes down, they don't pay attention to how they do things as much and they fatigue and then they injure their back as a result of that.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard many times when you lift something, especially if you're in your yard gardening or lifting, you know, bags of mulch, you should use your knees. That's like one of those things that your mom tells you. Is that a myth or is that true?
No, that's absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Good body mechanics, I think, will help prevent a decent number of back injuries. Keeping the weight close to the body, for example. One thing the back isn't good at is combination activities where you're bending while twisting or twisting while lifting. And people should be particularly careful about that. Square off to whatever you're going to pick up. Bend from the knees and then keep that weight close to the body.
Yeah.
If you can, divide the work into several smaller loads rather than one big load.
Can you injure your back just from running or walking on the trail?
You can. Typically those tend to be muscular or ligamentous injuries to the back, and typically they represent more of an overuse pattern. But certainly impact loading is a big part of back injury, especially if you have other injuries of the knee, hip, or ankle. Those things tend to translate their way up into the back. You lose shock absorption, so to speak. Shoes aren't really built to last nearly as long as people keep using them, especially if they're running on hard surfaces as opposed to softer surfaces.
Many people throw their back out by doing certain things. What can you do to avoid that happening?
Yeah, there's a few things I think that are critical there. One is preparation. Good aerobic exercise ahead of anything like golf helps decrease the incidence of back injuries. A number of studies looking specifically at sports like golf have shown that better technique is a great way of avoiding injury. So if you haven't done something in a while, spending a little bit of time with the golf pro or the tennis pro, making sure your swing mechanics are good will hold off a lot of those injuries.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you need more information or like to make an appointment with Dr. Trumez, you can visit him at the Seton Spine and Scoliosis Center. There is the number 324-3580 or at their website, setonspineandscoliosis.com.